welcome back, everybody. Ears Up in Depth, where we break through the news barrier to bring you, the listener, our beloved listener, a little bit of a taste of what's happening in the Disney sphere. And I'm excited about it. Jeremy, we have a lot of good news today. First of all, welcome back.
Good to be back.
The lovely Eric sat in for you.
He did.
While you were gallivanting into the Mediterranean area to visit my personal homeland and hang out with my family. I hope they treated you well.
They did. I wasn't so much gallivanting. I was in bed with COVID for several days of that trip. So there wasn't as much gallivanting as I would have wanted, but I did gallivant some.
Well, you have to. I mean, once you recover and, you know, you did have a private pool. That was my understanding.
I got a little bit of an upgrade, which was very nice. And I did. And it fortunately, because then I was, you know, if you're going to be stuck in a hotel room, have one, and with COVID, have one with a private pool.
Did you feel good enough to like utilize it, or were you just like dying in bed for a week or whatever?
It actually felt really good because I had a fever.
Okay.
And you know, your body's like so hot. So I would like dip myself in there and it would kind of just cool me off a little bit. Cool me off a bit, but mostly I just like slept in the lounge chair next to the pool. I slept so much. You can't stay awake when you have COVID. You're just like in and out of consciousness for 3 days. So, but finally got the COVID and got rid of it, and I feel like the Band-Aid's off a little bit with that. It's 2.5 years of being like, am I gonna get it?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, look, man, I'm glad you recovered. I'm glad it wasn't too bad. And
and I could taste the Greek food. I didn't lose my taste. So all that wonderful dolmades.
Oh my gosh. And all the fresh oregano and the lemon.
Everything is so good there. And I said to we were at dinner. I was with my friend. I said, we have to get dolmades. And they were like, oh, we don't really like those. And I was like, you don't like them in America. When you have them in Greece,
right?
It's a different story.
Well, of course it is. Any food that you have in any other country besides the country of origin, it's going to be different.
Yeah.
Never say I don't like this because I've only had it in a non, you know, whatever country, right? You don't do that. I'm angry.
But their minds were changed. I said, we're going to get one. You're going to have it. I'm going to give you half. You're going to eat it.
Right.
And they were like, oh, these are really good. I was like, yeah, because you're in Greece. They taste good here.
That's the move. Absolutely. Yeah. I'll get it. I will bestow upon you the blessing of proper Greek cuisine.
Yeah.
I love it.
It was great.
Very good, man. Very good. Well, I'm glad you're back. It's good to see you. Before the show, we're like, God, it's been like a long time. I haven't even seen each other. I don't even know what to do with myself now.
Oh my God, I know. Well, your reprieve was but brief, and now it's over.
I know. Now it's back to normal.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, Jared. Well, let's jump into a little bit of news here as I futz with my camera because I can't stop rearranging my studio. I can't stop. I can't stop it.
It constantly moves. We first tuned in. I asked you if you were in a different room because the angle was so different. I didn't even recognize where you were.
Yeah.
What's the story? Just get it. Just leave it.
I can't. I cannot do it because so I got a new microphone because I was tired of the audio being so weird on YouTube. So I'm going through and I talked about this on the main show last week, but I signed us up for a TikTok account and I'm taking videos that we've done from other shows like our YouTube channel, right? And just kind of compressing them into just taking a minute of a rant or something funny being said or even just some general content.
Sure. And
putting them up before YouTube Shorts and then just putting that to TikTok because I don't know, why not? I literally have nothing else to do. But combing through some of that audio on YouTube specifically, it's my audio for some reason was always very low and it would fluctuate. Sometimes it would be kind of low, but not really. And other times it would be super low where it's like, this is unusable. I can't do this. So I finally bit the bullet and bought a new mic, but then I have to, rebalance everything, based on that. So it's just one of those things, man.
Well, I'm glad you're doing it. Are you getting a lot of watches? What is it? Views?
I thought literally wristwatches.
Have people sending you wristwatches now that you've been doing that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I signed up on this affiliate site and I DM people on YouTube all the time. Go here if you want a free watch. No, I mean, I don't know. We not like a whole lot, but it's enough for people to, I don't know, man. You know what I mean?
Maybe you'll go viral.
I hope so. In the good way. Yeah. In the internet way.
Yeah.
For something positive also. By the way, no one wants to go viral for just something just asinine.
Yeah.
That would be bad. Well, speaking of bad things, Jeremy, we don't have any bad things. We only have good stuff. We have good Disney news. Who wants to go first? In true form, welcome back to the States. Welcome back to the show. We should have figured this out in the beginning. Instead, we were talking about cats. So who's going first?
Yeah, that cat chat totally ruined our whole vibe for getting the show. I think you have 4 stories. I have 3. So why don't you start and bookend me? How about that?
Okay, I could do that, man.
Great.
You know, have to move my mic, have to shift things a little bit. This is terrible. Should have planned better for this.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
I mean, I tuned in half an hour early to you just sitting there going, check.
One, two.
I was like, wow, this starts a half an hour before the show starts.
What happened? Yeah, this is going to be... Okay, we can do this. Let's start with a small story, just a little tidbit, a crudité, I guess, if you will.
It's an amuse-bouche for the news cycle.
That's right, an amuse-bouche. It's very, very short, but I feel like it's interesting, from the standpoint of, well, I guess we'll figure it out. Disney's next feature film, based on one of its classic theme park rides, looks to be getting ready to leave the station. As sources tell Deadline, Bert and Bertie, I don't know who these people are in negotiations to direct a picture based on Big Thunder Mountain.
Oh, okay. I like that ride. Actually, I don't even really like that ride.
Oh, the ride is great, but the ride itself is good. But the story behind it is dumb and non-existent for the most part. Like, if you ask anybody what's the story behind Big Thunder Mountain, you go, it's like a runaway mine train.
Well, it's an abandoned mine town, right? And then isn't it haunted? Like, it's supposed to be haunted?
Well, I don't know. Because at the end, when you drive through, like when you're going back to the station, you pass the town, and you can hear people and the piano playing or whatever. So I can't imagine it's abandoned.
Or maybe it's an
abandoned mine.
Mine near a town.
Yeah, sure. But this sort of proves my point. It's like, you don't really know. I've ridden that ride probably 100 times. There's no story. You have to be told the story later. It's like the thinnest of premises to go, you know what we should do? Is let's do a movie about a one-line thing. Let's make it stretch it out.
This is the thing. They can do whatever they want because it seems to be that they're not beholden to anything. I do think that this might be a lesson for Disney because, well, 2 things. One, a ride can be great with a lot of detail. It doesn't have to be War and Peace of a storyline. It could just be really great and, detailed and immersive and well done. Because there's this all they talk about now is storytelling. And I'm not sure that that's always what it should be. I think just immersion's good enough. Like, just throw me in the town and make it look good. And I'll make my own story. I am the magic.
That's right. For the movie or the ride?
For the ride.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For the ride. I don't need a backstory for every ride. And that's my problem with a lot of these movies that are coming out that Disney's doing. Like the Jungle Cruise. I know that Jungle Cruise wasn't really about the ride so much, but it was weird. It showed that there was no real like cohesion with that. But like Pirates wasn't about the ride, but then they crowbarred all that IP into the ride and it was weird. And it's kind of what they're doing like with Tomorrowland. It's like they're taking these things that have a thin premise because they should. Because you're telling a story in 2 to 4 minutes on a ride. Right. You don't need a backstory. You don't need a reason behind everything. But in a movie, you do, so you can get to know the characters, and you need a character to arc and to change and whatever, right? You can't do that on a ride. There's a reason that these rides are good. I mean, the ride mechanics are good, but it's also the story that you don't have to overthink it. You go, oh, that looks cool, that looks neat. But anyway.
Meanwhile, there probably is a very detailed story to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
There is.
You don't do anything without a reason.
Yeah, there's like fan fiction. I think that there was the comic book about it too. I think that they did for a while.
Yeah.
I know if you just here, let's just do it. Big Thunder. I bet just on go on Wikipedia and you're probably going to get a ton of that stuff. Now I'm curious.
Yeah, I think we just don't innately know it because the ride doesn't beat you over the head with it, which is also another lost art, which is subtlety. And it's kind of nice when you don't know the story, but then if you do your research, you find the story and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Well, see, even on Wikipedia, it says the detailed backstory, while present in park literature and training materials, is not communicated to park guests directly. The station building on all 4 versions of the ride are themed to appearance of a mine company office from the mid to late 19th century. In the Disneyland park, there's music and laughing in one of the saloons of Rainbow Ridge, and a typewriter is heard from a newspaper office. The mountains themselves are themed to the red rock formations of the American Southwest. Blah, blah, blah. But, yeah. So there's a history, but it's like in training materials. It's not really, that's sort of it.
Yeah, and I think that Disneyland's setting is different than the Magic Kingdom version. Or possibly Disneyland Paris. Because I remember doing this, I think, on Supreme Resort, and it seems to me that one of them is the red rock, but then another one might be different colored rock from a different area of the country, and they actually do have different settings, if I recall. It's been a little while.
Do. Yeah, they do. Well, we're getting a movie on it, so hopefully they can expand on that a little bit more. A minecart ride set in a mining town where gold is discovered. The original Big Thunder Mountain opened in 1979 in Disneyland in Anaheim, with another version opening soon after in the Magic Kingdom in Orlando. It's one of the more recognizable coasters in all of Disney's parks, also appearing in Tokyo and Paris. Plot details are unknown at this time for the movie, and apparently for the ride, but Disney always has been high on figuring out ways to turn its popular theme park attractions into big feature films. Blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, we're also getting a Haunted Mansion movie too. So everything is going to have a movie. We're going to have backstory whether we want it or not.
Okay, so I have another question.
Yeah.
So lately, Disney doesn't build anything that isn't already based off of an existing IP, right? Like they've kind of moved away from these original rides.
Yeah.
And the reverse has been happening. They've been taking these original rides and making movies. Well, when they exhaust that, because we've done Tomorrowland, we've done, Haunted Mansion's coming, and they've already done that once. Like you said, will they then say, well, now we need to build more? Like the well will be dry. Then what?
On both ends. They will have burnt the candle at both ends. They're going to meet in the middle and go, well, God, what's that movie? Inception. Yeah, we've incepted ourselves. We've done Inception to ourselves, where we're dreaming our reality, which is also our dream or whatever. So now what do we do?
Right.
I'm waiting for the Autopia movie. That's all I'm waiting on. Once we have an Autopia movie, I'm out. I'm just gonna, put rocks in my pocket and walk into the ocean. Like I won't be able to take it. And I guarantee you, I will bet you any amount of money that there has already been a pitch for an Autopia movie.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I think it's called Cars Land.
That would rule, dude.
Or Cars, or whatever that's called. I've never seen Cars.
You ever seen Cars?
No.
It's cute. You should watch it.
I can't listen to Get Her Done. He'll drive me crazy.
He is the literal worst part of that movie. He really is. But, within the context of the movie, it's cute enough to not be that bad.
Okay.
But the ride itself, like on Mater's ride or Cars ride, it's hard to square up.
It gets a bit much.
Yeah, absolutely. Get her done.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start off with a slightly quicker story as well before we get into some of the more meatier topics for the middle portion of the show.
Okay.
You no longer need a boat to see the fish and the plants. These land and seas tours will leave you entranced. Jason, I'm thrilled to be able to announce that after a very long wait, the Behind the Seeds walking tour will be returning to Living with the Land at the Land Pavilion at Epcot on October 2nd.
Oh, tell me about this.
Well, for fans of the Living with the Land boat ride, the behind-the-scenes walking tour takes guests on an approximately 1-hour guided walking tour behind the scenes or seeds of the greenhouses of the Land Pavilion. You can get up close. Guests can see the up close experiments being conducted on site by Epcot scientists, insects, plants, and even a chance to feed the tilapia in the aquaculture section of the ride and taste some of the homegrown crops from the attraction that are grown, hydroponically, aquaponically, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, so you get to sprinkle some fish food and eat a cucumber. Awesome. That's great.
Did you do the tour?
No, I didn't even know about it.
That's literally what you eat is a cucumber.
No, is it really?
That's why I'm like,
oh man, I'm just really smart, man.
You also see a plant. I don't want to give all the spoilers away, but there's actually a plant that responds to touch, and it moves after you. Kind of like what are those plants that eat bugs?
A flytrap, the Venus flytrap, or
yeah, they have something like that where if you touch it, it all like goes woo, and then you watch it. It's cool. It's a very, very good tour. I don't know the current price, but when I did it a couple years ago, it was like $25.
Oh, that's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's probably 175 now.
They've raised the price probably. Yeah. But that's not all. Over at the Seas Pavilion, the Epcot Seas Adventure Dive Quest allows guests to dive into the 5.7 million gallon saltwater tanks and swim with over 2,000 sea creatures. The pavilion's 56 giant windows allow for family and friends to view your dive. The 2-hour adventure also includes a behind-the-scenes tour of the inner workings of the Seas aquariums. Guests must be scuba certified. The cost is $219 in addition to the required park entry. But if you're not scuba certified, not to worry. Also coming back on October 2nd is Dolphins in Depth, stealing our title.
Lawsuit.
During this 2-hour experience, guests will interact with dolphins in waist-deep water, which that's not in depth. That's shallow.
It's literally not deep at all. Yeah.
It's dolphins in shallow.
It's just enough for the dolphins to not be able to go anywhere.
Yeah. Don't die, dolphin, in this. This waist deep water, you can view backstage areas and Epcot's Dolphins Care program and learn from Epcot Sea Life experts. The cost for that is $199 per person in addition to your park entry. They provide shorty wetsuits to all guests. So if you're a little bashful, don't worry about running around Epcot in your bikini. They've got you covered. Literally.
God.
I'm very excited about this. First of all, I'm very excited about the behind the scenes tour. I can't wait to do it again. I thought it was so great.
So I looked it up. It's $35 now.
Okay. You know what? It may have been 30 before, but you get a discount with your annual pass. So I probably paid 20. That's probably, so it may not have gone up too much.
Yeah.
Still $35.
That's a good price, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And also as a tip for people who are, look, it's great if you want to go with your friends, but if you happen to be on a solo trip to Epcot, great activity.
Yeah. Mr. P, you hear that? You're going solo.
So,
but sorry.
P's going to go solo. He's great. He's going to have a great time. So that's what's happening. I'm thrilled. 2 more things coming back since the pandemic. And I have always wanted to swim in that dolphin tank. So I will wait until you see. I'm going to be having selfies in that shorty wetsuit.
Oh, please do. In or out of the water. Oh, I fell over in my shorty wetsuit.
Oh, here I am running through the pavilion.
You don't get to keep the wetsuit, I imagine.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I know you should for $200, but
I know, right?
Yeah. Oh, a used wetsuit. I don't know about that.
I would love to get scuba certified. I would love to go scuba diving. But that would be really cool to scuba dive in that big tank. Come on. That's awesome. What an awesome thing to be able to do.
Well, I think they also used to have a snorkeling thing.
Snorkeling, I would do in a second.
So I don't know why. That seems to be the easiest thing to do. Anyone can snorkel. I wish they had that. I'm going to have to look a little bit more, but I didn't see that. I just saw scuba or waist deep sloshing around in a shorty. So we're going to have to see. We'll see. Maybe I will update you if the snorkeling comes back, because that's actually my number one desire
Yeah, please do, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of desires, our friends at the 21st Amendment Brewery welcome the warmer weather with the release of their brand new hoppy Pilsner, Coaster Pils. With a label that depicts a magical portal into an amusement park of flavors, Coaster Pils has a good time around every turn. Coaster Pils is wonderfully clear and bright with a beautiful straw color and tight white bubbles. It has a snappy flavor with crisp lines and wonderful citrus, tropical, hoppy flavors and aromas. Plus, at 5.4% ABV, it'll help you coast right through your day like only the 21st Amendment can. Coaster Pils, as well as their summertime favorite Hell or High Watermelon Wheat, are available wherever you find great craft beer. That's right, past me. What a good job. And the other day, I finally found a can of Coaster Pils. I'm drinking Coaster Pils right now.
Wow.
I will say it is a very good beer, and I'm not just saying that because, 21st Amendment's a sponsor. It is very good. I'm not really a giant fan of like tropical hops, but this has just enough sort of earthy notes to it, like a Pilsner should have, that it's not over the top tropical. I like it because sometimes that tropical can be almost sweet, and you don't really want that in a Pilsner. You want that crisp bite of bitterness, and it's good. I really like it.
That's great.
So good job, 2-1-A, folks.
Yeah, maybe I'll have a Coaster Pils when I go there.
Oh, you should. I'll buy one for you.
Oh, that's generous.
I know. All right, the D23 Expo is happening in just a couple of weeks, Jeremy. I believe it's the September 9th.
Oh, my word.
And we were talking about this on either in Discord or one of the shows recently or whatever. I was like, man, they should really live stream this thing. Well, apparently they're going to live stream this thing. So clearly evidence that the parks listen, that someone at Disney listens to us and has taken our idea.
But I don't think that's new.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I'm obviously joking. I'm trying to be like one of these Disney blogs where like,
yeah, I think
we influence the parks in this many ways, and you write a list and publish it every week.
I think they started live streaming at the last D23 because I remember thinking, why fight to go there and fight the crowds, the lines to get in?
No,
if I can sit at home
and fight myself,
potato chips on my chest and just stare. You know,
I agree. This year, the D23 Expo will have something substantial for video game fans with the Disney and Marvel Games Showcase coming on September 9th. The Disney Marvel Games Showcase promises new looks at and new content reveals for Disney Dreamlight Valley, Marvel's Midnight Suns, and Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Disney is also promising a sneak peek at the upcoming Marvel Ensemble game from Skydance New Media, former Uncharted creative director Amy Hennig's studio. Skydance and Marvel announced their new project last October and have revealed little in the way of concrete details. So if you're looking forward to this brand new Marvel game, this is going to be your first look at it. I played the Marvel Avengers game from Crystal Dynamics a couple years ago. Great game. I like that Disney has sort of a rough history with video games when they try to run it themselves, but you license all that stuff to studios who know what they're doing, and you can make some pretty cool games. That Marvel Avengers game was very good, and then it got not good. Oh. Well, what are you going to do? Beyond those announced projects, there's a long list of games based on Disney-owned properties, including Bethesda Softworks' Indiana Jones game. That could be fun, an Indiana Jones game. Insomniac Games' Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. I would love to play a Wolverine video game, especially like the sort of current meta of video games. If it's like a first-person shooter kind of thing and you're Wolverine and you can go and just rampage.
Where do you play it? On your iPad?
No, well, like a PlayStation.
Oh, you have to have that.
Console. Yeah, I'm sure they'll have it for PC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I imagine these are going to be like super immersive, like Grand Theft Auto, kind of thing. I don't know.
Got it.
And there'll be new Star Wars games from Ubisoft's Massive Entertainment, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's it. So, Friday, September 9th at 1 p.m. Pacific, if you're interested in watching this live stream on the D23 YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook channels. It's the Disney and Marvel Games Showcase. Not to forget, Jeremy, that you and I have a bet going on that will come due soon. At D23.
I forgot.
Of course you did. I don't. I will never forget this.
Well,
We are betting $100 to see
yes.
the parks announce a People Mover return to Disneyland during D23. I say no. Jeremy says yes. We're going to find out who's $100 richer.
It's going to be interesting. I think D23, they're going to have the parks panel. It's the most popular part of the whole thing. But what Disney does is they have the parks panel, but they have so many other panels, and they actually end up sprinkling news.
Yes, they do.
Out.
Right.
Whether not all of it comes.
I don't know.
Not all of it comes to the parks panel. So it'll be interesting to see which panel they decide to announce that in.
Right. Yes, for sure.
I don't know. Well, what if, okay, so let's say, all right.
Okay, here we go. We're already putting caveats.
But when we first made this bet, I said to you, I go, well, when does this expire? Like, when does this go to? Because what if they announce it at Destination D? Like, what if in January in an earnings call, they say, we're redoing the People Mover. And you were like, no, it has to be at D23.
Yeah, because that's
really the bet is the ride coming back or not?
No. The ride is that the bet is, are they going to announce it at D23? Which is the rumor.
That's your understanding of the bet. I will go with it.
Oh,
but if in January we get an announcement that they're bringing it back, I'm not going to renege. I won't give you your 100 back, but I will dance on your face.
That's fine. I will accept that. For $100, you two can dance on my. No, yeah. I mean, that was the whole reason behind the bet. Is the rumors on the blog sites are at D23 they are going to announce it.
I don't think so.
I know. That's why you're wrong.
No, I said I think it's going to come back. Your whole thing was they can't. It's physically impossible. we don't even have the technology to do it anymore. Like whatever. And I was like, well, they could do it. They are going to do it.
Well, okay.
You have hung your hat on this one event.
I know, but because that's because otherwise, yeah, in 50 years, then you could be right in 50 years, but we have to set a timeline, and you and I agreed on D23. So
I didn't. I do think that we have to have a timeline. I don't think it has to be 50 years, but I do think it could be like a year. But I've decided to agree.
Gives you more time to be right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, isn't that how that works? Go ahead, Jeremy.
He wants Disney to spin off ESPN, but Disney says this guy can go get bent.
Wow. That's about as bad as our bet.
Dan Loeb, CEO of investment hedge fund Third Point, made waves this week after penning a letter to Disney CEO Bob Chapek calling for some changes at the company.
I love it when people say they penned a letter. It's very like, I can see this guy sitting down by candlelight, dropping another piece of coal into the stove to keep warm, dipping his quill into ink. And
yeah,
his assistant sent an email. Doesn't sound as
on behalf of Dan Loeb.
Yeah.
After Disney announced what Loeb characterized as quarterly earnings that pleased him, he purchased a significant stake in the company.
Wow.
In his letter, he wrote, quote, "We have had over 2 years to observe management navigate the most challenging time in Disney's history. This quarter's results are an important proof point that Disney's complex transformation is succeeding, and our confidence in Disney's..." What is this, by Jason Petros? Like, I mean, I've never seen so much brown nosing of JPEG. Is succeeding, and our confidence in Disney's current trajectory is such that we have, in recent weeks, repurchased a significant stake in the company. Which, meanwhile, I don't want to say anything, but I have penned not just letters, but poems to Chapek with many requests of the company.
And
they rhymed. And equally, I was a shareholder. I sold that share, and I'm now considering buying another share. And I think that my letters and poems should be responded to equally. Disney did have a good earnings report last week, racking up better than expected subscriber growth for its streaming services and beating expectations in revenue and earnings overall. But Loeb also offered up some suggestions indicating a strong case can be made for spinning off the company's ESPN division arguing that the sports channel would have greater flexibility to pursue alternative business initiatives such as sports betting that could be difficult while part of the family-friendly Disney brand. But little does Dan Loeb know, Bob Chapek is the worst steward of family-friendly you've ever seen. He is going to do it whether he spins it off or not. Sorry, Loeb. We're betting, baby. ESPN was in the news recently for having split after a more than 40 decade. Whoa. Let's just slow it down.
Yeah. Let's chill.
ESPN was in the news recently for having split with collegiate Big Ten football and basketball after a 4-decade partnership. But that didn't stop Loeb. Loeb says in a move that would surely anger Disney fans, Loeb continued to urge Chapek to undergo a cost-cutting program, saying he believes Disney's costs are among the highest in the industry and that Disney significantly under-earns relative to its potential. I didn't type under-earns. I typed underarms.
Ooh.
So I don't know.
Freudian slip.
Mine are getting a little wet. Yeah, mine are getting a little wet because I don't have the AC on for this.
Yeah, I'm roasting, dude.
Yeah, well, I have to get sound quality over comfort. Come on. Loeb continued that Disney should accelerate its purchase of Hulu and integrate it into Disney Plus as soon as possible. Currently, Comcast maintains 33% ownership of Hulu until its agreement to be bought out by Disney in 2024. But Loeb wants to move that along fast. He also encouraged Disney to hold off on reinstating its shareholder dividend and instead use the money to pay down debt, which I agree. I think no, get rid of the debt, repurchase shares, and invest in the business. He also called for a refresh of the company's board of directors to include more people with experience in technology, advertising, and consumer engagement. Disney responded to Loeb's
I can only imagine
suggestions in a statement saying, quote, it welcomed the views of all of its investors. They added, under the leadership of Chapek, the company has delivered strong performance while navigating the COVID pandemic and its aftermath, and the independent and experienced board has significant expertise in branded consumer-facing and technology businesses, as well as talent-driven enterprises. They also stated, quote, as our third quarter results demonstrate, which is like, per my previous email, moron.
Exactly, yeah.
The Walt Disney Company continues to deliver strong financial results powered by world-class storytelling. I guess they didn't see Jungle Cruise, and our unique and highly valuable content creation and distribution ecosystem.
Wow, I love a good ecosystem, man.
Straight out of the words out of the mouth of Walt Disney.
Yeah,
Imagine him talking about his business as a distribution ecosystem.
I know. Yeah, that's very. I mean, it's sort of odd where this guy just buys a bunch of shares and then goes, here's a bunch of tips to fix your business that I just bought into. Unsolicited. Here you go.
Seriously, he could save a lot of money. Just have an in-depth show.
Yeah, come on this show.
We could have him on. Dan, save yourself the money. Just come on here and kvetch.
That's right.
You get your point out.
Yeah. And we know that Disney listens to this show and they take our ideas.
Well, in my next story, they did respond.
Oh.
Anyhow, that's what happened. Disney responding to Dan Loeb's suggestions.
Yeah, by basically saying, that's cute.
We're good.
Go home. Yeah, go. It's nap time, Dan. Yeah. Let's take a quick break. Speaking of nap time.
Okay.
We're going to take a fast break. We're going to come right back. We got two main stories to cover, and I got a little fun story to end the wash.
Word. So much
it's off with. I know.
So much info.
I know. It's a good time. Hang on, everybody. It's Ears Up in Depth. We'll be right back. All right. I'm going to eat for just a second, and then I'll be back.
You going to pee?
A minute.
Is that what you said?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Well, good luck. Let me know what happens. What do I do in the meantime? Let's go to the chat, see what's happening. Chat, what do you have to say? Knock everything down except Space Mountain, LOL. Well, I don't. Yeah, sure, you could do that, dude. Damn, they have to make everything an IP. LMG vids on YT. What is this? It's just all acronyms about how Tron can't fit in D-Land. Pretty interesting. What's LM? Excuse me. What's LMG? Let me guess. Vids on YouTube did a video. I don't know what that is, Sorrow. I just want a people mover to go through something Tron like home of the Tron of the 80s. I could not agree more. That's a fantastic statement. Yes, let's get that going. Why don't you pen a letter, buy a share, and I'll cover it right here. So that's great. RGH, even if you did remove the carousel of progress building and drop Autopia, I don't know that you'd have enough space. I don't know what that's referring to, but I don't disagree. Well, that's what's going on in the chat. That's your recap. There wasn't much chatter in the last story. I think we've got a couple more coming up. And that's it. Who else is in there? LMG is a Vids is a channel. He mainly does high quality ride through videos. Oh, okay. Huh. I'm a big fan of Cliff Flicks on YouTube. Very high quality videos. Mostly of illuminations, reflections of Earth. He has like 4 edits of it. They're amazing. And I haven't seen this myself, but someone tweeted at me yesterday that he actually provides links to download his raw video. So you can just have it, which I think is a really nice thing that he does that. I don't have proof, but that's what someone said. I'm going to check it out. The Clifflix videos are, he must go in there with a camera crew. He's got like 6 people all around, or he must watch it on multiple nights and record it. And then he edits together, but you get multiple camera angles. You don't miss a thing. Clifflix, let's go. He's doing it. Also, another one of my favorite YouTube channels for tributes and history of attractions is Martin's Vids. He also has a website, I think it's called martinsvids.net. Amazing. He's got Laserphonic Fantasy, original illuminations. He's got in Haunted Mansion. He's got Phantom Manor at Disneyland Paris. And usually there's information. He does like subtitles at the bottom that gives you history of what's going on in background. So it's not only entertaining, it's edutainment. Jeremy, I finally saw the Epcot tacos in the Lake Showcase. They're atrocious. Oh my God, aren't they? And what's worse is the show that they use the barges for. That show sucks, and it's not worth those. I would say if they could recreate illuminations using the barges, I'd probably forgive them, but I am not willing to forgive those barges with the fact that they put on that horrible show. It's like a double whammy, and I can't take it. I lived in real life and also saw videos. Makes me sad how much Tomorrowland's changed. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Oh, Petros, you're back.
What's up?
Well, I was just chatting with the chat.
Good. Should. All right, ready?
I am. Hold on. Let me see. What are you going? I just did a story, right? So you're next.
Yeah.
Then I'm ready.
All right, let's go.
In depth, reporting Disney news that's probably not made up.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. Got a couple good stories for you left to do. This one, I don't know how I feel about it because it doesn't really affect me. But
ever the narcissist was he.
Yeah, a lot of people. That is true. I'm working through that with my therapist, though, so it's fine. Anyway. For months now, Magic Key holders have been wringing their hands and stomping their virtual feet in hopes of getting some word as to when they can renew their passes. Magic Keys went on sale about this time last year, so a fair amount of folks were getting a little nervous about what the quiet spell meant for their particular level of Magic Key. Usually, Disney is not shy about asking for money up front, and the lack of communication blossomed into several blog outfits hypothesizing that keys were going away altogether. Last week, the company announced that the Magic Keys would be open for renewal, and in true Disney fashion, all levels arrived with a fresh coat of price increases. Now, here are the old tiers of keys. The Imagine level was the lowest level. That was $3.99 a month, and that was, or excuse me, $3.99 a year for SoCal residents only. And you have 2 park reservations at one time, and you get 10% off select food and merch. The Enchant level is $6.49, or it was, and you get 4 resis at a time with 10% off select food and merch. The Believe key, which is, it just reminds me on how awesome Disney is at naming stuff. That was $9.49 a year, and you can hold 6 park reservations at once, 10% off select food and merch, and 50% off parking. And then the Dream Key was the highest tier at $13.99 a year. You get 6 resis, 20% off merch, 15% off select food and bevies, and free parking. Now, most of the tiers are basically the same with a few added things. Now your options are your Imagine Key, instead of $3.99, you're at $4.49. That's still SoCal only, 2 resis, 10% off, blah, blah, blah. But the added perk on all of these tiers now, 20% off Genie Plus purchases, or your purchase of Genie Plus, and 25% off standard parking at the Toy Story parking lot.
Well, okay. Keep going. I have some comments.
The Enchant level used to be $6.49. Now that's $6.99. Same stuff. Basically, it's 4 resis, 10% off food and merch, but you get your 20% off Genie Plus and your 25% off parking. The Believe Key used to be $9.49. Now that's $10.99. And you still get your 6 resis, your 10% off, 20% Genie Plus, 50% off parking, and coming soon, unlimited PhotoPass downloads. Oh. And then finally, replacing the Dream Key is the Inspire Key. Now, the Dream Key used to be $13.99. Inspire is $15.99. And you get 6 park resis, you get 20% off merch, 20% off Genie Plus, 15% off select food and bevies, free parking, and also the coming soon unlimited PhotoPass downloads.
First,
also,
okay,
yeah, go ahead.
No,
you go ahead. No, you
stop renaming things. Just change the damn price of it. No one can keep track of all of this. These names: Fast Pass, Lightning Lane, Genie Plus, Enchant, Magic, Inspire. But like, we don't know what those things are. Just keep the same name and change it.
Agreed. And I don't know. I wonder why. I would love to know why they did that, because I'm guarantee you there was a conversation about that in the boardroom. The customer confusion is probably a big thing for a company like Disney. They want to keep everything straight, but you got these weird naming scheme in the first place. It doesn't mean anything, anyways.
Yeah, it all is weird.
Yeah. What's different about the top tier pass, aside the thing I just mentioned, is now there are solid blockout dates. The 12 days around Christmas, from December 21st to January 1st. Is that 12 days? Yeah, sure, whatever. Everyone with a Magic Key will be blocked out, meaning if they want to go to the parks, they have to pony up the cash just like the rest of the schlubs, and at $169 a ticket for that part of the season, that's a lot to tack on to your Magic Key budget.
Wait, is that the top tier even has blackout dates?
Yeah.
The most expensive one has blackout dates.
Yes, sir.
That's insanity to me.
I agree. Now, it's important to note that these are for renewals only. The sales are not yet open to the public. So these are all just people, if you want to renew these things, these are the hoops you got to jump through.
Grandfathered in. I can't believe this.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, man. And then, as things sort of blend through the news sphere and on Twitter and whatever, people are discovering a little bit of a different sort of contract negotiation that Disney has. It's not really a negotiation. It's, if you want this ticket, you got to do this stuff. Tacked onto the Magic Key terms and conditions is a seemingly new bit of information, a waiver. It reads, you and Disney each agree that any dispute or claim relating in any way to your Disneyland Resort Magic Key will be resolved by binding arbitration, with the sole exception of claims that qualify for small claims court as set forth below. You acknowledge that you and Disney are each waiving the right to file a lawsuit and the right to a jury trial. You and Disney also agree that any and all disputes must be brought in the parties' individual capacities. You and Disney therefore agree to waive any right to litigate or arbitrate any claims as a class action or other representative or collective action. Now, this language isn't really all that unusual. In fact, buried in the terms of your actual Disneyland ticket is similar language like this. I agree that the waiver and indemnity provided for in this COVID-19 and other communicable infectious disease provision shall cover all physical and emotional injuries and or damages, including without limitation all illness and bodily injury, including death, whether suffered by me or anyone else before, during, or after my visit and or participation. Additionally, I agree that the scope of the waiver and indemnity shall include any claims related in whole or in part to my own actions, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't mention anything of it, just specifically COVID. Now, strangely enough, the only reference to waiving one's rights to a lawsuit, specifically a class action one, is for COVID-related illnesses throughout the ticket terms and conditions. Perhaps making the passage in the Magic Key terms cover any class action suit and not just COVID-related ones might have something to do with the lawsuit filed last year on behalf of Magic Key holders, which alleges Disneyland falsely advertised their Magic Key passes, claiming that they artificially limited park capacity and blocked pass holders with no blockout annual passes from making reservations. It's important to note that the Dream Key was touted as having no blockout dates, though all the ticket holders are required to make park pass reservations to enter the parks. The issue was that reservations were listed as sold out for Magic Key holders, while the general public, for lack of a better term, were still free to make park resis. The lawsuit states that the plaintiff, quote, reasonably believed no blockouts meant she could use her Dream Key as long as the parks were not at capacity. But while there have been many dates that have been marked as sold out to key holders on Disneyland's park pass availability calendar, these same dates often show availability for those with daily admission tickets. Now, Disney did respond to the lawsuit requesting that the case be dismissed, but a judge allowed two claims to move forward, one relating to the California Consumer Protection Act and one relating to breach of contract. So we might be seeing Disney's response to this pending lawsuit and trying to prevent any further litigation against it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. You got to protect yourself and really specify. You still got to make reservations. You might not get the reservations that you want, even though you have this pass, and you can't really sue us for it. Sorry.
Right.
But, Jeremy, the increases of Magic Keys are not all of the price-related items on the Disney menu. Recently, personal friend of the show and captain of my heart, Mr. Bob Chapek, recently told CNBC that a ticket price increase might be on the horizon.
Of course, there's always been one on the horizon. That's every other year we get one.
Yeah, but
every year.
Here's a quote from him, and this is what he said. It's not. I'll read it. Quote, "We read demand. We have no plans right now in terms of what we're going to do, but we operate with a surgical knife here. It's all up to the consumer. If consumer demand keeps up, we'll act accordingly. If we see a softening, which we don't think we're going to see, then we can act accordingly as well." So I don't want to say he's victim blaming, but he's blaming us for the popularity of the park and for the prices going up. It's like, well, if you guys wouldn't come here so often, we wouldn't raise the prices, but you guys keep coming here, so we're going to raise the prices. It's very odd to hear that, because usually Disney says something about providing all this great content, or, you know, we've done all these upgrades. They have usually justify their price increases somehow. But Chapek is sort of like, don't come here.
Can I tell you, there's actually something refreshing about it to me?
Yeah, I agree.
He's like, yeah, a lot of people are demanding this, and we only have one. Like, there's only one Disneyland, so we have to raise the prices. That's the laws of economics. I would rather him just be blunt and say that. I actually kind of appreciate it than sprinkle sugar on it and be like, and lie to me and say we're doing it because we're giving you more magic. No, you're not. The place sucks. I like this. I actually like this.
Yeah, it is. It's neat.
But
right,
it's not.
refreshing.
It's very not Disney.
It's very not Disney. No,
It's hardly any company, by the way.
right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you didn't want to buy this thing, we're not gonna. We wouldn't raise the prices.
Most companies don't speak about their consumers' desire for their product in such a way.
Yeah, it's not Disney. It's refreshing, but it also does sort of strike a chord of a shift in the way that this CEO treats the public and treats the company with regards to how the public sees it or how the public interacts with the company. I mean, he's literally saying, if people stop coming, we won't raise the prices. But if you keep coming, we're going to raise the prices.
Right.
Interesting. The cost of theme park tickets have jumped over the years, with data tracking firm SJ Data Visualizations estimating that the tab for admission tickets to the Disney World and Disneyland theme parks have climbed more than 3,871% in the past 50 years. Disney has also slowly been raising the prices of food and merchandise across its parks. For instance, at Disney World, the iconic Mickey ear headband jumped $10 in price to $39.99, while the popular Mickey's Premium Ice Cream Sandwich and chocolate-coated premium bar rose from $5.69 to $5.99. All of this has led to increased profits at the park. During its most recent quarter, Disney reported a 72% revenue increase in its parks, experiences, and products division, rising to $7.4 billion. Disney said its per capita spending at Disney World and Disneyland rose 10% and is up more than 40% compared with fiscal 2019. Pre-pandemic, up 40%. And since all price increases.
Yeah.
Wild.
Look, it's a departure. I mean, he does seem to be saying a lot of things lately where he doesn't look at the guests as guests. You don't talk about your guests who come to your house in such a way like, hey, if you guys would keep coming over to my house, I wouldn't keep giving you drink. Like, it's very strange. It makes me think, because I thought I found recently the other day, I was cleaning out a cabinet, and I found this pamphlet that I have from the opening of Walt Disney World. It's called Preview Edition. I actually think it's a recreation of what they had, but my camera's not working. But it talks about the opening of the Vacation Kingdom and the master plan. But in one of the sections, I was thumbing through it, and it talks about the future of Walt Disney World and blah blah blah. But then it says, Disney tradition: every guest a VIP. And out
the window for years.
There is absolutely they don't think of us like that at all. I mean, they even talk about how their verbiage and how they should talk to guests and how they should refer to them and all this. That's gone. We're just widgets to him now. It's sad. Yeah. I can't imagine any company, like he said, in that earnings call, which, to be fair, these are earnings calls. They are not marketing. They are not, I mean, it's public, but like the earnings call is meant for a certain audience, financial analysts.
Yeah.
So I give a little bit of grace here, but when you talk about, he said that, they didn't make as much money as they could because of what did he say? The
unfavorable mix.
Unfavorable
guest undesirable mix. I think that's what it was.
Can you imagine Walt speaking about his guests in a way where some of them are unfavorable for whatever reason? As opposed to when Card Walker was running the company and Roy was coming up with this, and they were saying every guest is a VIP. I mean, what a shift.
Right. It's a shift, but also, they weren't seeing the attendance numbers that we're seeing now. So I think on the one hand, I mean, I definitely agree, and I'll always agree with that concept. But I sort of understand the from a business standpoint. I think at some point you have to think of it more as a business than a theme park. I think you have to, in order to keep everything flowing and to keep everybody happy and to keep the experiences at a high quality. And you got to keep the money, coming in. But they definitely are lacking a CEO. And Iger didn't really do this either, but they're definitely lacking a CEO that has, like, for all the crap that people give Eisner, at least he was, good on the camera. He was like getting out there and sort of like repping the brand. they don't really have that anymore. And, Walt was sort of the ideal of that, obviously, because he was Walt. But I think you need a CEO that's more of a face man to a certain extent, because those people will care about how the guests, the customers, the consumers see them, and in turn the company. Mm-hmm. If you get a good one.
Well, especially
I like JPEG. I think he's doing fine, but this is one aspect where I think he needs a lot of help with, is saying dumb stuff like this. Well, if you wouldn't come to the park, derp.
Yeah.
Refreshing, but not Disney.
If a significant portion of your company's revenue is in the hospitality industry,
right,
you should be hospitable. It doesn't matter if the CEO of CVS or, an oil company doesn't have this charisma.
Yeah.
Or looks at their customers in a much more numerical way or in a metric. But even, a hotel chain, Sheraton, West, these companies don't talk about their guests like this.
And I wonder if it's because it was on CNBC and because it was related to the stock, the stock price and the stock market, investing in general. I wonder if he's talking maybe in his brain to more of like the investor speak of like, because we're getting more demand for our product, we can raise the price. And then therefore vis-a-vis the stock will go up or the value will be more. But I think, and if that's the case, what he's missing is the other side of it, where dingbats like me are going to find it. Not that it was like hard to find, right? It was a secret or whatever, but Disney fans are going to key in on that and go, well, okay. And then we bring it out to light. We're like, well, look, you can't say this stuff about us. If you don't want us to come to the parks, well, fine. I won't go. I don't have to do this. But I think a lot of people, and this is sort of a point I was making in the Disney adult episode on the main show. I think a lot of people feel like the only choice they have for vacation is a Disney park, and that's just not true.
Oh my God.
In the past, the parks have been really good about making you feel that by giving the APs a little calendar or a magnet or whatever, right? These little gifts, free water, free iced tea, free coffee refills. You make us feel good for spending the money. But as human beings, we sort of take that, personalize it and going, well, this is just for us. You can't have it. And then you sort of have this like caste system or whatever. But the parks are just as responsible for these attitudes towards the guests as Disney is, as the CEO is, right? As the consumers are. We're responsible for our own. I lost my train of thought. I lost it. Jeez. I'll take it all out. Don't worry. I'll take this out. It's fine.
Yeah, you never do.
I know. I do edit though. I do take some of it out, but I leave it enough in to make it funny. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. That's what's going on.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Thank you.
Disney got the name wrong for the electrical parade, and on Twitter, a big fuss has been made.
God, I can't wait for this story, man. It was so much fun watching this happen in real time. This was great.
There was a huge kerfuffle this week, and I'm proud to say I was dead center in all of it. Disney releases these, so we've talked about it on the show there, or that they have there's Magic Bands, but now there's the Magic Band Plus. Everything's right. Plus, Disney Plus. Well, these are they light up, they sync to the show. Like the old Ears did glow with the show. So they've got all that going on. They have to you got to recharge them. People are saying you got to recharge it like every 2 hours. Well, who's in a theme park for it's a disaster. Okay.
Yeah. It sounds really bad. Yeah.
Also, we used to get Magic Bands for free. Now you got to pay. It's so ridiculous. So Magic Band Plus, right? Well, of course they've been releasing limited edition Magic Band Pluses. Plus, I don't know, Magic Bands Plus. I don't know what the correct grammar for that is. That's not new. I mean, I have limited edition original Magic Band, like Illuminations, the Farewell, because,
okay.
Take away my favorite thing and then charge me for merch celebrating it going away. That's how I want to be treated. That's my favorite. How about just let me have my freaking show?
That's right.
So, of course, but I bought one. So I have that. So they've been doing these limited edition things. Well, this week, Disney released a limited edition one commemorating the, quote, electrical light parade. Do you think that there are any issues with that?
Yeah, I've never heard of this. I think it's cool. So we're sort of getting, you're telling me that we're getting merchandise ahead of a brand new parade that nobody's heard of before. I love it.
Well, apparently only it's the same artwork and look of what something is called the Main Street Electrical Parade. It's not called that. So I, as Spectra Radio on Twitter, commented on the post. So Shop Disney is what happened. Shop Disney posted, they're like, look, we've got a new limited edition Magic Band for Disney's Electrical Light Parade. And I commented on the post, since when is it called that? That's not the name. Now I'm thinking no one's going to respond or notice this, but I'm like, I got to, I did this in passing. I'm scrolling, I'm tweeting, I'm blah, 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 blah. But I did comment because that's not a thing. That is not a parade. We have never known a parade in the Disney parks called the Electrical Light Parade.
Even I know that. And I have no idea about half of the things in my own park in Disneyland. I have no idea what things are called. Even I know that that's not called the Electrical Light Parade.
Meanwhile, you and everyone else on Twitter.
Yeah.
Including me. So, wouldn't you know, the Shop Disney Twitter account responds to me.
I love it. I love it so much.
Which is also weird.
Yeah, to push back a little bit.
Like
or
pushing back,
justify, yeah.
They go, thanks for your inquiry. Disney's Electrical Light Parade and MSEP, they didn't even say Main Street Electrical Parade. They abbreviated it, which again, from what I understand inside the Disney company, that's a no-no.
Oh, really?
You say what it's called. You don't say MSEP.
Wow. That's like at Starbucks. We were never allowed to call it a frap. It was a frappuccino.
Or a PSL.
Yeah. Nah, well, that's different, I guess. But frappuccino specifically because it was their, copyrights or trademark. And you don't want it to be a frap because then everything becomes a frap and then you lose the cup like aspirin or Xerox, right?
Yeah, Polo.
Right, exactly. So, same thing. Never call it a frappuccino only.
Sure. Thanks for your inquiry. Disney's Electrical Light Parade and MSEP are the same thing.
Yeah.
Doubling down. Shop Disney doubling down on that.
They are the same thing, but they're not called the same thing. You're referring to the same thing incorrectly.
Right.
Right.
And that's when the Disney drama started. They doubled down on this incorrect nomenclature. Several people weighed in. Diz Dad Steve replied, no, it's not. Andrew Brandt.
Like big wine dad energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Sipping a Shiraz.
I love all of this. Andrew Brandenburg replied, you are now making stuff up. Just take the L. Take the loss.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these. Adam Quinn replied with one of my favorites. They're the same, except for the fact that one actually existed. I've got two more that I love so much. Here's Jason Crow saying, I'm buying one today. I'll wear it in front of Cinderella's palace and while riding my favorite attraction, the Scary Ghost House. The poignant of all was tweeted by someone who must have worked for Disney, stating, if I said MSEP at the Disneyland call center, I would have had points taken off my call quality assessment.
Wow.
So that is not how you don't refer to things, because branding matters. These things count. It's the Main Street Electrical Parade. It has never, ever been called the Electrical Light Parade. That's not a thing. But it didn't end there, Jason.
Ooh.
Story got picked up by Disney News website Disneyland News Today and its counterpart Walt Disney World News Today with a story about Shop Disney defending Disney's Electrical Light Parade name on their new Magic Band, and even referenced a tweet by Spectra Radio, yours truly, that's me, questioning the whole thing, linked to my profile. Okay, so WWNT putting Spectra Radio in the Diz Twitter limelight. It's insane. But here's the thing. This is not just ending like, okay, this is a screw up, whatever. It's got the rumor mill churning now. Okay, because people Because people are speculating that the nondescript title Electrical Light Parade could mean that the parade is coming to another Disney theme park, because as we know, the Main Street Electrical Parade is coming to the end of its current run at Disneyland at the end of this summer. So they think that there's speculation that perhaps more specifically a non-Magic Kingdom or a non-Disneyland style resort. So could it be coming to Disney California Adventure, Walt Disney Studios Paris, which we know has seen an incredible amount of investment, or Disney's Hollywood Studios? It's not unprecedented for the Main Street Electrical Parade to run at Disney California Adventure. It has run there before. And to be sure, when it ran there, because there is no Main Street in California Adventure, the name of the parade was changed, not to the Electrical Light Parade, but to Disney's Electrical Parade. There's no light in there. Also, in Tokyo Disneyland, it should be noted, the parade is referred to as Tokyo Disneyland Electrical Parade. And the reason for that is because Tokyo Disneyland also does not have a Main Street. They have something called the World Bazaar. It looks exactly like Main Street. It's covered in glass, but it's not called Main Street, so they don't call it that. But nowhere on this planet is it, or has it ever been called the Electrical Light Parade. So while I think that it's a possibility, and it is likely that the Main Street Electrical Parade we know is coming to an end, Disney's already announced it, it may very well likely be moving to another venue. I don't think that this misnomer is indicative of that. So I think two things can be true at the same time. It could be that it's moving, but I don't think that it's I don't think this is telling us why it's moving. I think somebody screwed up. Never underestimate stupidity and laziness. I think it's just a screw up.
Well, a couple things. Wasn't the Main Street Electrical Parade the halftime show, like the Super Bowl or something like that, or the
Orange Bowl 1977 Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida? Correct. Right. It was the halftime show.
Okay. There's presumably there's no Main Street down the center of the Orange Bowl, but they still called it the Main Street Electrical Parade.
Yes, because it wasn't taking up residence there. I can see this. It was going there for a single event. You don't change something. If you're bringing something to another venue to showcase it, you wouldn't change the name there.
Well, okay, maybe, but also if you're bringing it to, Tokyo or whatever for a limited run, I don't think you should change it either. I don't think that they would change it, because the branding since the 60s has been the Main Street Electrical Parade, or the 70s or whatever it was, right?
But they do. It's not called Main Street there, and they don't call it the Main Street Electrical Parade.
I know, but they should. I don't know. But, well, no, I mean, I guess in reference to if you're putting it, if it's for Tokyo and it's only going to live in Tokyo, that's fine. But if you're going to move it to like DCA, which I could sort of understand because you sort of want more people in that park, I would guess.
Right.
I don't think you should change it. I don't think that you would change it. But also, I feel like, why else is the merch like that? I mean, I agree with you. I think people screw up stuff all the time, but that's a big one to go through a couple of press checks, artwork checks. No one's saying, hey, let's clarify on this name a little bit. I don't know, unless they're still kind of short-staffed to the point where just one person, okay, I'm in charge of designing this. It's my art check. And yeah, that looks great. I think this is what the name is, so I'm just going to push it out. That doesn't make sense to me.
They've gotten rid of it. They've gotten rid of everybody. There's no institutional knowledge left there. They have no one. They have no one who's saying, hey, that's not what it's called. It's all up to us. We have to do it all. It's up to the fans. But maybe you're right. Maybe they are going to change the name to Disney. Maybe they've heard a lot of people actually just tend to refer to it as that. So they said, let's call it Disney's Electrical Light Parade.
But also, I just don't see Disney doing that. It just doesn't feel like a move that they would make to just sort of strip down one of the most iconic parades in the park history to a different name altogether.
Well, I mean, they've done it before. They changed it to Disney's Electrical Parade. When it went to California Adventure, Disney's Electrical Parade. Here's the thing. Then they got real lazy. They got rid of Spectro Magic at Disney World. They sent the Electrical Parade from California Adventure to the Magic Kingdom. And they never when we had the second run of Main Street Electrical Parade in the late 2000s late 2010s, it still said Disney's Electrical Parade. It was the California Adventure version running down Main Street, USA in the Magic Kingdom. They never brought back Main Street. So it never actually got its official title back until it then once again returned to Disneyland. So we just got the Disneyland California Adventure scraps.
And again, well, that's all you deserve. And again, why not just Disney's Electrical Parade? Why Electrical Light Parade? It just doesn't, I don't know, like changing it again and again, it just doesn't make sense. But also that's sort of on brand. I mean, look what just happened with the Magic Keys. Change the name on those, like who knows anymore? I guess that's really the point is who knows?
No one knows, but that's the other thing is this used to be a company whose branding we could trust. And now no one really cares. No one's watching the shop. They're just collecting dollars and cents. They don't care about the guests. They don't treat us as VIPs. To this company, none of this matters really. It only matters to us.
Right. Well, and you got the CEO literally saying, if you don't like it, don't shop
come
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
With anything. And that's sort of what we've been saying on this show for years. If you don't like it, if you're online complaining and crying and tweeting at Disney and saying, do better and all this kind of stuff, and you're still going to the parks, you're part of the problem. Yeah. Don't go. If you don't like it, you tell them and you don't go. Go somewhere else. But that's the only way Disney's ever going to listen. They're not going to listen to your feedback. They're not going to read your tweet. They're not going to read your blog comment. They're going to look at the revenue and go, whoa, we are down. Maybe we should do something. That's the only way. I mean, that's just capitalism, right? Free market.
Meanwhile, I might get one because because if it is a mistake,
I think you would deserve to own one.
If it's limited edition and it's a mistake, that's kind of a neat thing to own.
Oh, I thought you meant the Magic Key. Yeah. Oh, if it's limited edition, it's a mistake. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. No, I'm not getting a Magic Key.
I just don't see it being a mistake, but I hope you get one. Get one.
All right.
And then if it rises in value, we'll split it. I don't know.
Everything is somehow to get money.
Yeah.
Do you want to know my alternative rhyme for this story? Because I would
love it.
My headline. I didn't use it officially. Here it is. For getting the name wrong, I called out Shop Disney, and now I am a star with mentions on WWNT.
I think it's good, man. I like it. You know what? And you were on the front page of that. You got called out right out. There was a link to the thing and everything. And I was like, oh, man, this is amazing. I love it.
Only been doing this for 11 years.
You got noticed, man.
Oh, boy.
All right, Jerry, I got one more story for you.
Hit me with it. Let's go.
All right. Mickey Mouse launches a new dance craze, and hundreds of Disney adults are dancing in Tokyo Disney. At the Tokyo Disney Resort, Tokyo Disneyland, and Tokyo Disney Sea theme parks, hundreds of, quote, Disney adults. Now, I say that after we just did a show about Disney adults, and the bottom line was that the term literally means nothing. It's meant as an insult, but there's no weight behind it as far as a definition, so it's a stupid term. But here we are. We're spotted dancing shamelessly to an addictive song and dance called Jamboree Mickey. Have you heard this?
No, this is totally new to me.
All right. Now it seems like every day outside and all around the Mickey Jamboree Let's Dance dockside stage at Tokyo Disney Sea's American waterfront port of call, swarms of adults in the hundreds gather to dance in unison for 15 minutes straight with two energetic members of the cast, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, and friends. Now here's a video that was shared on Twitter. I'm going to share it. I'm going to share my screen here with you so you can watch it. And we'll do our best, podcast listeners, to describe the action.
Oh,
but it's awesome.
It's is it a flash mob?
No, it's like, I mean, I guess maybe. I don't know. It doesn't look like not a stage play. I don't know. We'll play it. Let's see.
Oh, my God. So this is all these people. And they're doing the dance. And this is the Macarena.
So that's it. So it's basically like if you can imagine, Rivers of America, I guess, with all that space in front of pirates. I mean, there's a couple hundred people here, and it looks like Mickey is on. It looks like kind of a platform, I guess, right? Let's replay it a little bit. There's maybe a stage, or maybe it's like the equivalent would maybe be outside of the Golden Horseshoe. I don't know. And you have a flood of people, and the dance is like. You're bopping on one side and you have your arm like half cocked in the air, and then you move it and you sort of shift and you kind of go back and forth that way. And it's like legitimately hundreds of people watching, but in the video you can only really see, maybe, I don't know, 75 or 80, who knows.
They're very much in sync. It looks, if you stumbled upon it, it does look like a flash mob.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or it looks like me when I'm drunk at Atlantic Dance Hall at the Boardwalk Hotel when they start doing the line. Like anytime there's line dancing, like that down, when I don't know what that's called, but I get out there.
I'm sure you do.
Or like it's like 2 steps to the right, 2 steps to the left,
and switch. The slide, yeah,
I do. I like that, but that's what it kind of looks like too.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamboree Mickey actually arrived in Tokyo Disney Resort as a theme park children's entertainment program in 2019. Currently, it's performed 3 to 5 times a day on live stages at Tokyo Disneyland Orleans Theater and at Tokyo Disney Sea after a hiatus due to COVID-19. Okay, so at the dockside stage, that's what the video was. So there is a stage and they're doing like a whole, thing. The catchy tune features a remix of the iconic Mickey Mouse Club theme song and began on the parade route. A street party similar to those found in Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. I don't know what that sentence is that I just read, but I know I read something. In its debut, the song and dance was even performed on Japanese national television in collaboration with the popular Japanese pop girl group Nogizaka 46, where they danced alongside small children as well as Mickey Mouse. So let's watch this a little bit of the girl group. Nogizaka 46.
I
mean, they look like flight attendants in the 70s. Really.
This looks weird.
And it's like you're on one leg and you kick the other leg out and you bend your arm.
I feel like this is... I want to dance like this. Oh, I think I love it.
I think I love it too. You need to put it on Spectrum. I do love it.
Oh my God, look at their current crisscross. You have not heard the last of this, let me tell you right now.
Mr. P's got to put this on his screen. Hear it? You get the idea.
Wow, and the castle even dances.
Oh yeah, for sure. Why not, man?
Oh sure.
However, the infectious quality of the song and dance has over time sunk into the public consciousness, and many Disney adults have begun showing up at Tokyo Disney Resort's live shows, perhaps for 2 main reasons. The first reason could be attributed to the pandemic, which has triggered an increase in health-oriented activities in Japanese schools, especially in preschools and kindergarten. The Walt Disney Company has started sending Jamboree Mickey videos. Hold on, this is a hard website. The Walt Disney Company has started sending Jamboree Mickey videos to schools, encouraging children to learn how to dance. Over time, it seems that the repetitive song and dance has successfully spread to parents and older generations. The second reason could have been that the adorably excitable Pinocchio, who went viral after being spotted at Tokyo Disneyland, danced excitedly on Jamboree Mickey around the park and comically engaged park visitors. This video... It was just, a face character, Pinocchio, just like sort of walking along and doing that weird like hop.
He's doing it,
spinning his arm, and then he goes to a cast member and tries to engage them in the dance.
And the cast member is like right away.
Yeah, right away, and they do like a clap to get the timing on, and then they're both doing it in sync, and it's so I love it. And then Pinocchio is just trying with the little kid, and the cast member he was dancing with is like custodian.
Right. But immediately was like, "Yep, I got this."
Yeah, exactly. And it was such a good show. It does seem like Pinocchio is kind of a shill for this dance because it's literally flipping around doing this dance.
Pinocchio's the best. Look at him.
Pinocchio's on the roll. This is cool Pinocchio too.
This Pinocchio is so cool.
It's a 10-minute video. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing, but
I could.
So could I. That's the thing.
What is he doing now? He's at this map.
Who knows anymore? I think I'm gonna have to watch this on Walkabout.
He almost seems a little. I don't know what this is. Weird. He seems almost out of character. Like he seems like he's.
Yeah. After the Mickey Jamboree returned in April 2022 after hiatus, again, COVID, the show had begun to attract a steady number of dancing guests in the cordoned-off areas beyond the seats provided. And so this is footage of people who aren't, seated watching the show and dancing in unison.
Yeah, they're like in the back.
Yeah. They're like off to the
Here
side.
they go. Right up.
Adults. There are no children. There's one child.
It looks like a dance anyone can do.
Yep.
Like the Macarena.
Jamboree Mickey. Jamboree Mickey.
Oh my god. Oh, that's what they're saying.
I think so, yeah.
Oh my god, this is the opiate of the masses.
And there's a longer video and, whatever, dude. That's what's going on, man. That is exactly what's happening in Tokyo Disney. And I love it. I think it's great. It's awesome. And I really think it needs to spread over to our parks.
I don't think it will be very long.
Right. Because, everyone needs a reason to be famous online. I think this is the reason. You're going to see Disney TikTok people doing this dance in the parks. I guarantee you, by year end, there will be people in Disneyland and Disney World going viral on Disney TikTok for doing this dance, like in the park, within the park specifically.
Well, hell, why wait? I'm going down a week from today. Let's get this going. I'm going to do it.
Okay, do it.
I'm going to make a video. I don't have a TikTok.
Do a video, send it to me. I will put it on our TikTok channel, which has literally one video. I will do it. I'll do it. I'll put it on YouTube Shorts. It'll be great.
If I go viral, it'll be a disaster.
It'll be awesome.
I've already been going viral on Twitter. How much more virus can I take? My viral load's getting... I should do it. Maybe I'll be the reason that this comes to America.
Please
Which
do
would
it.
really be you're the reason because you planted the seed.
But that's what I like to do. I like to have ideas and then not do them and have other people do them for me. That's my thing.
Spin your web, oh Spinmeister.
I'm one of the fates. Going back to the Greek thing. Anyway.
Oh God.
That's all I got, Jeremy.
I think that this was an hour and a half, almost an hour and a half of news packed. Where are you going to get this much news?
Nowhere else.
Nowhere else.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot.
Lester
everybody.
Hull, eat your heart out.
I appreciate you guys listening to me and my viral companion, Jeremy. Oh, whatever. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And till next time, we'll see you later.